Evening, everyone. This is Gabrielle. Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Money with Friends. Every Wednesday, we have the privilege to come to you to talk about money. But on our show, we say money encompasses everything. That's why tonight we are so excited because, since we came back last month, we've been talking about home ownership because I know for me, home is everything. And that's why I've been dedicating so many episodes here, so many talk here to talk about home ownership because I know it's very important to you as well. So tonight's topic, we've been promoting it. It's called the Road to Home Ownership, Community, Advocacy, and Opportunity. We're gonna have an opportunity tonight to talk to three exciting community leaders. They're going to be sharing with you some great information about a way for you, a path to homeownership for all income levels. So you don't have to wait until you make a lot of money to own a home. We're going to be sharing that information with you tonight. So I would encourage you to ask a friend to join this show tonight. I will encourage you to like the show tonight, and I will encourage you to be part of this community because we make a promise. We made a promise to you that we will come every Wednesday with information that is timely and relevant and information that you can use and do something about. Remember last when we just started, we said we're not gonna just throw information at you. We're gonna give you tangible action plan that you can go ahead and do. So tonight, this is a night because at the end of the show, before the end of the show, we're gonna be announcing an opportunity for you and your friends, anybody that you know who does not have a home right now, who does not own a piece of property right now. We're gonna give them an opportunity to participate in a lottery. So without further ado, I would like to welcome my friends who are on the show tonight and give them an opportunity to introduce themselves. And then we're going to dive into this very important information, important topic on the road to ownership, to home ownership, community, advocacy, and opportunity. So, yes, welcome, ladies. Can we first have Molly say hello and introduce herself?
Hi, everyone. My name is Molly Goodman. I'm the Director of Operations and Development at Merrimack Valley Housing Partnership. And I've been working in home ownership for over a decade at this point. I'm also an attorney, is my background. And I'm so excited to be here today and talk about the path to home ownership and how it really is an option for way more people than believe it. So we want people to understand that. They're not locked out of home ownership. There are lots of opportunities and programs that enable that. So we're so excited to be here to share that information with everyone.
Thank you, Molly. I'm so excited. I'm so glad you were able to make it. And not only did you make it, but you also made a promise. You said, Gabrielle, I'm going to bring two other colleagues with me. And I'm so glad Kathy and Jennifer are on tonight. Please, Jennifer, introduce yourself to the audience.
Absolutely. Hello, everybody. My name is Jennifer Pangdara. I'm the Director of Programs here at Merrimack Valley Housing Partnership. I'm so excited to be on this live podcast, here to talk about that road to home ownership. My background is in doing mortgages and working with affordable housing.
Yes. And the best for last, we have, is it Kathy?
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Gabrielle, for having us here tonight. My name's Kathy Mercado. I am with, obviously, as you heard, my colleagues say MVHP here in the city of Lowell, Massachusetts. I am the executive director and been doing this type of work for over a decade. And my journey started taking a first-time home buyers class.
Really? First time home buyer class led you to this journey. That's excellent. So I wanted to have you ladies here tonight because, again, as I said, we've been talking about home ownership, and I know that I've had conversation with many friends of mine offline, and they're saying, Gabrielle, listen, I would love to own a home, but I cannot even pay rent. It's so expensive right now. So, Kathy, I would like to ask you, many people think home ownership is out of reach because they don't qualify. They think that the traditional way they're not able to qualify. What are some alternative pathways that families should know about?
Well, I would say that number one, take a first time homebuyers class. I ended with that and I'll start the question with that, or
Mm-hmm.
the answer to your question. Um, Taking a first time homebuyers class will give you the tools that you need and unbiased, right? And not
Mm-hmm.
commission driven, nothing against the people that we work with and the lending institutions and real estate professionals and all of the people that you need to make this happen.
Mm-hmm.
But with the first time homebuyers class, you'll know exactly what questions to ask the lender, what questions to ask the real estate broker, what questions to ask the home inspector. And also you'll have that one-on-one counseling session with the HUD certified counselor. And HUD is Housing and Urban Development, which you have to be certified and take a national test for doing this type of work, right? So we have to take this test, we have to keep up with trainings, and we also have a background in lending, we have a background in creating down payment assistance programs. So we have all of the information that many people that are in the industry are unaware of. So the
Mm-hmm.
way that you can get to home ownership is by taking a first time home buyers class, right? Advocating for housing justice in all of our communities, but also don't limit yourself in regards to your income, your background. If you're a first generation buyer, don't limit yourself that this is possible. I was a first generation home buyer and it was possible for me. And that's the drive, that's the mission.
Yeah, definitely. The mission is to own a piece of the land. Actually, to me, the mission is stability. We want to have stable community because when we have transients, folks who are coming and going, and many times it's not because they want to be transients, they're just being pushed out to displacement. I had mentioned, I think I was to Mali, I mentioned like, certain countries, they do have what we call social housing, where folks get to live in a home and they get to live there forever in an apartment. But in this country, we don't have that yet. And because we don't have that, the best thing to me is to own where you live. Because when you own it, at least if you do it the right way, I too have a background in mortgages, and I used to say to find, finance, and keep. And the best way to do it is through an organization such as yours, Merrimack Valley Housing Partnership will educate you. You don't have to say, I don't know anything, I don't have any money. Come, because we're going to let you know how do you find the knowledge and the information on how to own a home, and also to how to finance it, because you don't have to have all the money, right? Molly, we had mentioned that, typically, I know for me, I've talked to several families about the type of home ownership, the non-traditional, the different pathway to home ownership that we are gonna be discussing tonight, that we started discussing tonight. Many folks saying like, oh, affordable home ownership has too many restrictions. What do you say about that?
Well, there's a few different programs in Massachusetts that create opportunities for affordable home ownership.
Uh-huh.
And each of them have different restrictions. There's trade-offs, but there's pros and cons, and a lot of the pros kind of outweigh the cons because it gives you an opportunity to get your foot in the door and start building equity and creating that predictability that a mortgage payment gives you over rent, which can increase substantially every year.
Correct.
Um, so one of the biggest options is called 40B. It's a law in Massachusetts. Sometimes it's called the anti-snob law. If
Mm,
a city or a town doesn't have 10% of their housing stock affordable, developers are able to come in and apply for a permit and sort of bypass the typical processes as long as 25% of the units are going to be affordable. Those deed restrictions uh, are in perpetuity. They stay with the property. So if you buy in, um, you're buying in at a very subsidized rate, which is typically like 40 to 60% of the market rate of the house.
mm,
But you're also restricted to selling it to an income qualified buyer. So
mm,
those opportunities exist across the state. My Mass Mortgage or mymasshome.org is the website that you should go to if you're interested in finding those listings. Um, Another opportunity is through inclusionary zoning. That's at a municipal by municipal basis. It changes with each city or town. But sometimes developers are required to include affordable units within their project at some percentage. And so those opportunities are often available at, like, you can find them through the town or the city website.
Mhm.
Um, and then we also have a new program in Massachusetts. It's through Mass Housing called Commonwealth Builder. And it is a program that helps the developer build affordable units. And the deed restrictions for these properties are actually a little bit different from the 40B in that they actually don't last forever. Um, for one from year 1 through 15, you are restricted. You would need to resell to an income eligible buyer, but after year 15, you're actually able to sell for the market value of the home. You may have to
Mhm.
share some of that price appreciation with mass housing, but the limitation goes away. And then after 30 years, there are no restrictions.
Oh,
Um, and so this is new and just such a great opportunity. And we'll have more on that later because we have a specific project that we're talking about. But these
definitely.
these opportunities are available and they really allow you to get your foot in the door to home ownership where a market rate property might not be in your income range at this point in your life.
Correct. And I hope everybody is understanding what Molly is conveying here. We need you to understand that yes, you can purchase a home. You could go to a realtor. We've had realtors here, a loan officer, and different people, and ask to help you purchase a home. But if you are looking to build community and you know that because of your income, you may not be able to qualify for the traditional way of owning a home, we are saying tonight there are opportunities. There's another path to homeownership at your income level. And tonight, before the end of the show, we are going to share a specific project in Lowell that you will be able to apply for. But we don't want you to get this information for yourself. We want you just for yourself. We want you to encourage a friend, forward this broadcast to a friend, let them know to plug in because this information is not only for you but it's also for them. Again, we talked about some of the restrictions. Unfortunately, if you're gonna buy below market, that's what you say in Mali, right? You're buying below market. So for example, why don't we give them an example of like a typical one bedroom apartment in Boston would be for how much typically the market right now?
Oh my God.
You have an idea?
I've seen properties that go for $1 million.
Yeah.
But you're looking at least, four or $500,000.
Yeah. A
I
one
don't think I've
bedroom
seen much below
apartment,
that.
a one bedroom condo would be for $400,000, 500,000. But with the income restricted or the deed restricted opportunities that we are talking about tonight, you could purchase that same condo similar to that condo for half the price, correct?
Yep.
And because it's half the price, the deed is restricted. So, Molly, let me just, can you explain a little bit? Because we said that homeownership is an opportunity to build generational wealth. What does it mean when it's deed restricted? Do you still think it's still a great opportunity to pursue homeownership that way when there's so many restrictions?
Yes, I absolutely do think it's worth it. When you are a renter, you're paying your rent to your landlord each month, and they're using it to pay down their mortgage. And that's how they're building equity in the property because the more of your principal that you pay down, the more equity that you have in the property. So even with a deed restricted mortgage, all the money that you pay every month to your mortgage payment, a portion of that is paying down the principal and it's building up your equity in the property. And so even if, 10 years down the line you sell and you're selling to another income eligible buyer, you have built all of that equity in the property that you'll be able to take with you um, to pour into your next property, your next opportunity. And so even though it's not appreciating at the level of market rate properties that you're seeing, you are making tangible progress on paying down the principal every single month. And so you are building equity. in a way that you are not able to as a renter.
Yeah, as a renter. And I also want to emphasize the fact that when you're a renter again, you could be asked to move out anytime. And your children, because I think about the kids who are in school. Your little Johnny started freshman year. Johnny wants to be in the same school system and graduate with his friends. You cannot guarantee that if you are a renter because your landlord could ask you to move out and you try to find an apartment. Let's say you live in Quincy. You cannot find an apartment in Quincy, and the closest apartment that you find is in Dedham. So you have to move to Dedham, right? So we saying like when you're able to purchase a home, traditional way of purchasing the home is great, but when you are given the opportunity to participate in a lottery to be able to purchase an income restricted property, it will give your family peace of mind to know that you can build house and you can be stable and not be pushed out of your community just because rent is going up. Would you agree, Jennifer? I wanted to ask you, Jennifer. I know that many families right now are on subsidized housing, like the Section 8 or other vouchers that they have. And also those who are paying market rate. Off camera, I was saying like some of the apartments in the nearby neighborhood here, one bedroom apartment is going for $2,500. That's 2,500 a month for one bedroom. So what are some opportunities? Why the opportunities available for those who are on Section 8 or paid market rate right now?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for pointing that out because as far as Section 8 renters, there's a huge misconception on what people think that they're paying for rent. And I have seen and successfully helped close, folks that have been paying rents 2,500, $3,000 here in Chelmsford, and then able to purchase, and their mortgage is actually less than what they had been paying. And there's a lot of work that kind of goes behind that, but
Mhm.
absolutely, there is a program, the Choice Voucher to Homeownership program.
Mhm.
There's Section 8 renters. It's specific on the type of voucher that you have, but the opportunity to purchase is there. It's a very underutilized program. It's something that not a lot of people know about.
Mhm.
We were able to get somebody to purchase just last month using this program. And same thing, you're able to transition from years and years, decades of renting, but now being able to own your own home. So what the program does is it does actually pay into the mortgage for 15 years. Very similar to what they would do, what a housing authority would do towards rent. We can turn that into income and be able to allow buyers to purchase. So it's a great, great program. Not a ton of lenders know about it. Not a ton of lenders know how to use it.
Mhm.
And that's where we come in, and then we advocate for the buyer on their behalf. We connect and streamline the housing authority, the lender, the real estate agents, everybody involved, so that we can go from to be able to utilize the program. So it's a huge one. I mean, Boston Housing Authority does a lot of great purchases
Mhm.
with the Section 8 to Homeownership program. We're working super closely with them. Of course, we work closely with the Lowell Housing Authority. Same thing. So we're happy to shout it from the rooftops. Let everybody know if you have been renting with a Section 8 voucher, please reach out to us. Let us do the work for you. Find out if this is something. Most people, they are more ready for homeownership than they believe. They've got great credit. They've got great savings. They've got the work history there. So we just got to pull it all together. And that program is specifically something that we want to share more about. I mentioned it was a 15-year. I do want to throw in there that if the buyer is elderly or has a disability, the housing authority will actually pay for 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Definitely, again, we want to emphasize and want to reiterate this information here is priceless. Oh my gosh, is it priceless? How do I know? Because I've worked in community. I'm someone who's very community engaged, and we're going to talk about that because, again, tonight's topic is the word to home ownership, community, advocacy, and opportunity. And we're going to talk about all the opportunities, all the community impact when you are involved in community, but as well as advocacy work that you need to do. I am very engaged in community, and I know when I go, everyone, like today, for example, I was asked to participate in an event. When you are asked to go to housing court and you see families with Section 8 who've had Section 8 for a long time, and they're paying $3,000, $4,000 total, combined with the support that they get in their own income. And they're still getting displaced because the landlord wants more money and they gotta go. So we saying tonight, if you have Section 8, if you have any type of subsidies that is helping you to pay for your rent, you could reach out to Merrimack Valley Housing Partnership and they will let you know how you could own a property, especially an income restricted property below market rate, meaning like you'll pay less than somebody else. Okay, so without further ado, I just want to say again, this information is valuable and you know it's timely. We would encourage you to like, share, make a comment, let your friends know that we are here and this information is for you and it is for them. Be part of the Let's Talk Money community, because when you are part of this community, you will have priceless information like the one tonight. So, Kathy, I wanted to ask you, what does it actually take in terms of the process? What does it actually take to work with your organization from renting to ownership?
So I kind of touched upon it earlier. I think I went ahead of the question. Um, it takes patience. Let's just talk about normal things, right? Let's not
Yeah,
talk about logistics.
correct.
I would say it takes patience, it takes grit, it takes believing in yourself,
Mm-hmm.
not letting stress take over and taking that stress and turning that into something positive, because stress can be a positive thing as well.
Yeah.
Let us help you, like Jennifer said earlier, and I said earlier, you take the first time home buyers class. We'll help you. We'll do the one-on-one counseling.
Mm-hmm.
But you just have to be patient, and you should also feel like the so-called American dream is still
Mm-hmm.
attainable. It's not going to be easy, but it is still attainable. And you
Yeah.
said something earlier, Gabrielle, about sustainability
Mm-hmm.
and stability, and making sure that people feel secure and in place and they don't have to move their whole families and change schools. And I'll say, Manuel wants to stay in Lowell. He doesn't want to move to New Hampshire. He wants to
Mm-hmm.
stay where it's diverse. He wants to stay in the community he knows, and the mom wants that as well. So it's just about taking the steps, doing the research, and preparing yourself and allowing people like us to do the type of work that we do, such as, in Boston, there's Maha over here. Maha and Merrimack Valley Housing Partnership, we started around the same time. So I just want to say that. So they're like our sister agency.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually help write the curriculum. So we've been doing this for 40 years. I just want to say that 40 years we've been doing this type of work.
40 years. Yeah, definitely. I just also, you had mentioned that, in terms of like being able to stay in your community, how many of you right now are saying like, folks are being displaced? Displacement, gentrification is happening every single day. And they've been displaced out of the community. In order for you to stay, you gotta own. And also, in order for you to take care of the community, you have to have a sense of ownership, because transients, those who come and go, they go in, they come in to sleep and then they leave. But if you're gonna own, you wanna know what's going on in your community, because at the end of the day, you have a vested interest in the community. Again, we talked about being patient, having the knowledge, but still you need a little bit of money. So can we talk a little bit about the down payment, some of the opportunities that are available, Jennifer, for families who are
Yeah,
looking to purchase, but they don't have all the money yet,
yeah,
even with the
absolutely.
income restricted. Yes.
Absolutely. And, there are so many down payment assistance programs, and it's not there's so many misconceptions as well. So for generally speaking, there's two types of down payment assistance. It's either a loan or it's a grant. And if it's a loan, there's some sort of repayment. It might be a monthly repayment. It might be tied to an interest rate where you would have to pay that back monthly. But a lot of times it is a loan that you wouldn't pay back until you sell or refinance the home. So there's
Okay.
no monthly payments, but you've got this upfront money to help with your actual closing costs, down payments, deposits, things like that. So it's a really great one. Otherwise, the grants are uh, true grants. There's no repayment of that form. And sometimes there is some restriction as far as having to live in the home for 5 years. Otherwise, there may be some recapture of that assistance should you sell the home prior to 5 years. But otherwise, those are the two basic types of down payment assistance, grants or loans. There are mortgage products specific to Massachusetts that
Mhm.
have grants and down payment assistance built into their program. And
Mm.
that is mass housing. Governor Healy actually kind of popularized it lately. It's been around for a while, but it kind of went a little viral. But there's a great, $25,000 down payment assistance with mass housing right now that's happening with the you know, zero interest deferred loan. Huge opportunity. And when we talk about various income restrictions, if we're looking at Middlesex County, just to throw a number out there, we're looking at a combined income of just at 200,000.
Mm.
That's the income. So don't, be misconceived that I have too much money. I make too much money to get down payment assistance. This isn't the conversation for me. You may be surprised. The other program that's really big and popular is Massachusetts Housing Partnership, which is MHP. Great programs, specific, even better programs for folks who currently live in gateway cities like Boston, like Lowell, allowing purchases to happen, reduced interest rates. It's not the 6.5, 7% that you may be seeing out there. With some of these programs, we're able to get the interest rate down to still under 5%. So these are the numbers that are happening currently. So we're seeing it all the time. We pull it together to try to make it happen, but it's definitely something that we need the word out. That's why we're so happy to be on your show,
Yeah.
Gabrielle,
Yeah.
because we want folks to know that there could be opportunity. And yes, you do need money. You do want to have your savings. You need your emergency funds. You need to have reserves in order to pay for um, mortgages upcoming, but use the assistance, even if it's a loan, use it in lieu of the savings that you have because the cost of home ownership is heavy up front. But once you've got that controlled mortgage and you know what you're paying each month, you can take better control of your financial future.
Definitely, I think that's the key. The key knowing that initially for the first 5 years or the first 4 years might be a little difficult because you are adjusting to a new a way of doing business. Like you have a mortgage and you might have unexpected expenses that you didn't know that you were gonna have. Again, that's why the down payment opportunities assistance is very important to know that if you have some savings, it's great. Let's save this for emergencies. There are opportunities available for you to find the down payment. Not only are you going to be able, when you work with Merrimack Valley Housing Partnerships or other organizations similar to them, like a sister organization like MAHA. MAHA came to the show last time, actually a couple years ago. And I know you all know Renee Owens. She does a lot of work with MARA. They come here, they came to say the same thing that you all are saying. There are opportunities available. You don't have to keep paying rent, whether you have a Section 8 voucher or you have any type of subsidized housing right now, or you are paying market rent. It it is your responsibility. You are watching the show tonight to call and get some information, get the education, and you'll get the assistance that you need in order for you to move forward with your life and also to have the stability that you deserve. So, ladies, again, thank you. Thank you for being on tonight. But again, I just want to remind you If you are watching and this is important information for you, for your children, for your family, for your friends, share with them. Click like, click share, click make a comment. Let us know how was perhaps your journey to home ownership. You wish you had learned about this? Maybe somebody didn't. I was saying to Molly earlier today that 20 years ago, a friend of mine came and told me that she was purchasing a home through a lottery. Something you're gonna learn about later on tonight. There's a lottery opportunity, and I want you all to know about that. And she bought her home 20 years. She never had to go through some of the challenges that many people went through during the COVID and also the Great Recession of 2008, because her mortgage was affordable and it was doable, and she wanted to stay because the home she had purchased it literally, I remember when she came with the paperwork, the value of the home market rate was twice as much as she paid for it. So I would encourage you to let your friends know about this show, because again, earlier today I mentioned that community is part of the topic tonight. The road to ownership, the road to home ownership, but community advocacy and opportunity. Community. Molly, what does the power of community involvement look like?
So, nonprofit organizations are often like a first stop to getting involved in the community.
Mhm.
Um, and like you said, access to these opportunities is all about knowledge and getting information about the opportunities. And we're definitely not trying to gatekeep. We want to get it out there,
Mhm.
but not everyone knows about these organizations, and they're not in, the world that we're living in every day.
Mhm.
So, um, we work with other nonprofits. We come together to advocate together because we know the power of these programs and how important they are. And like, yes, we want to get the word out to people who can benefit, but we also want to get the word out to our legislators and people that are in positions of power that can help expand these programs, that can
Mhm.
help make difference through policy. So it's really critical. Like we keep mentioning Maha, there are partners in advocacy. There's lots of other first-time home buyer courses in Massachusetts, also available on the website I mentioned earlier, mymasshome.org. You can find out information on other organizations that are offering these classes. And we're working with our policymakers, our legislators at the state level, at the local level, even at the national level, our senators and our U.S. representatives, to get the word out about the programs and reach their constituents, but also to make them stronger and improve them and create more opportunities for home ownership in the community.
Yeah, we need to create more home ownership for the community. Again, we are here tonight to let you know that home matters. You know, your home matters, and we want you to be able to, as I said, I've always said it, to find, finance, and keep. When you do the first time home buyer, you're gonna be meeting up with a real estate agent who's gonna help you find the perfect home. And when you are part of an organization like Merrimack Valley Housing Partnerships, they're gonna be able to help you get access to lottery, to find that perfect apartment, that perfect condo, townhouse to live in. We want you to continue to participate in community, because when you know, again, my friend who had gotten that really great now it's been almost 21 years for her, and she purchased that home at below market, income restricted, and also a deed restricted. But now she has a property that she was never one of those people was being pushed out, because she bought at a price that she could afford. I just want to say again, Molly, like there are some simple, like I was talking to a young lady. She again in the in terms of like advocacy and also community engagement. I was talking to a young lady who's going through a lot right now in a housing situation. She has actually subsidized housing, but her apartment, the rent is going up, and she cannot afford even her portion of the rent because her income is not steady. she has a disabled child. And I said to her, you know, you're going through a lot right now. Are you involved in community? Do you know who your elected officials are? What do you think she told me?
No.
No.
No
So what do
idea.
you say? How important is it to know who your elected officials are in your town? Because when you have housing issues, who could you call?
Oh, it's so critical to know your legislators, because at the end of the day, they work for you. And
Correct.
so you kind of need to know who they are so that you can access them and sort of tell them what you think, but also ask them for help. So
Yeah.
when you have issues with state agencies, like if you, I know like a lot of the times like unemployment system is really like chaotic right now and lots of people are having trouble with their claims. Um, the best way to sort of get to the bottom of it is to get your state legislator involved.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, if you reach out from cold, like they will absolutely help you. But, you know, if you establish a relationship, if you go to their coffee hours and meet them and they know who you are, it's that much easier to ask them for help when you need help later on.
Yeah. And I say on the show, money encompasses everything. And we've said that money is community. And many times when we say that, folks are, how is money community? Listen, many times I know many of you have to work two, three jobs. But many times you work in two, three jobs because you don't know the opportunities that you have in your community. Perhaps you wouldn't be paying $4,000 for rent if you were part engaged and part of community. You would have had access to so many different opportunities, even an access to purchase a home. So tonight we're gonna talk about that. We don't want you to be in hiding. Come out, be part of community. If you don't know what to do, I had mentioned to you over lunch, Molly, that this one lady once told me, "What is community?" I live in Malden. I don't know where my community is. Meanwhile, Malden has town meetings all the time. They have activities. They had non-profit organizations that are functioning right there in Malden. They're looking for volunteers. Like earlier today, actually, another organization that you're familiar with, AHMA, HAMA, they actually had lobby day at the State House. And I was invited. Last year, I was able to go and attend that and participate. I participated last year, but this year I wasn't able to participate because of other commitments. But that's one thing that if you are part of community and you know what's happening, you can partake and participate and lend your voice. So that again, that's when your elected officials, because when you go for lobby days, your elected officials, the officials that are those who are in your town, those are the ones you're gonna go see. You're not gonna see the one in Milton or go see the one in Dorchester. If you live in Brockton, you're gonna go see the ones that are elected to serve the community in Brockton. So again, thank you ladies again for this information. But we've been saying throughout the show that there's gonna be some great exciting news. I know Molly cannot wait to share this news with those of you who've been watching, who you've been sharing, and you've been letting your friends know about this program. Again, don't keep it to yourself. Don't keep it a secret. We don't want to be secret agents, okay? We want you to share this information because tonight, for those of you who've been renting, whether you have Section 8 or you are paying market rate, and you love to either move closer to Lowell or move too low altogether, we have an opportunity for you. So could you share, please, Molly?
Yes, let me just share my screen to let you all know about this amazing opportunity.
Yes.
Um, it is called Suffolk Place. It's development that we've been working with the developers as the lottery agent. Um, there are 33 units, 31 bedrooms, and three two bedrooms.
Mhm.
Um, and they are available by lottery. The lottery is actually closed, but we're still accepting applications for this property because we expect there to be units left over after, just because of people passing them up or some ineligibility for the people that were entered into the lottery. So these units are going to be available on a first come, first serve basis. So we want to encourage you, if you're interested, to check out this website, mvhp.org/Suffolk Place. Um, I'm sharing it right now.
Wow.
This is a picture of the building. It's a rendering, but it is almost complete. It's under construction right now. And I will just scroll down a little bit to show you some renderings that we have of the units. They're beautiful. They're
Beautiful.
brand new, modern appliances, stainless steel, in-unit washer and dryer. Just beautiful opportunity for first-time home buyers. And if you go to this website, you'll be able to see down at the bottom the application right here. You just need to download it and submit it to us as soon as possible because these units are first come, first serve.
Mhm.
And I'm going to keep going down and scroll a little bit to show the income limits for these properties.
Mhm.
So if you're at 80% area median income for Lowell, which for a household of one, that's about 73,000. You could be eligible to purchase a one-bedroom unit for $199,000.
So in other words, is that number the highest amount that you could be making? What's the lowest in terms of like your income? Or do you have to be making 73,000 minimum?
That's the maximum. There is no minimum.
Okay,
I will say you need to be able to qualify for a mortgage. So
correct.
that's sort of where the minimum comes in, but there is no hard number. And that might look different for different households. Like Jennifer said, like there are there are programs for folks that are, already have a subsidy. There is down payment assistance that is available to bring the purchase price down, which will also bring down the monthly mortgage payment.
Yeah. So if you're a single person and you're making 73,000 or less, but you have to be able to qualify for a mortgage, then you can go ahead and apply and see. And the key is to apply. If you are a household of two, 83,000, just a little bit more than 73, right? 83,650. A household of three, that's the 80% income limit, right? 100%,
Yep.
it's right there. Yeah. If you don't, because I know a lot of people I've talked to in the past were a little confused about the income limits. Then, they'll see these numbers, they'll be like, oh, I don't qualify because I don't make that income. So the key is to reach out and get additional information and come and join, participate in a first time home buyer class. Correct, Molly?
Absolutely. The first step is always a first-time home buyer class,
Yeah.
both because you want the information that you'll learn there, but also because it's an application requirement to have a certificate from a HUD certified first-time home buying class.
Okay. So
Um, but
So in
always the
other
first step.
words, for in order to qualify for even this project here, you have to have had your HUD certified. It doesn't have to have been through Merrimack Valley, any one of the HUD certified. So if you already have your HUD certification for first time home buyer, definitely this is an opportunity to jump on. And also to if you are wondering about down payment, you will guide them in how to get access to that. And also, do you need to have a pre-approval in order to even apply for this opportunity?
Yes, you do need a pre-approval for your application to be complete.
Okay.
But we want to encourage folks to get their application in, even if that's not there, and we can help you connect with lenders who can do a pre-approval. And so we're really here to walk you through the process. So even
Mhm.
if you don't have all of your application documents together already, um, get it in so we can get you onto our tracker spreadsheet and
Yeah.
help you get the rest of the requirements together to get you entered into the opportunity to buy these properties.
Yeah. Definitely. The key is to get ready and stay ready. Because when these opportunities, when you have them, when they are available, then you can jump, and do something quickly. So again, we've talked about that, whether you buy into a traditional route or through this amazing opportunity for all income levels, it's very important that you go through the first time home buyer class. It's education that everybody needs because it will show you as a renter how much you perhaps missing out if you already qualified for home ownership. But in order for you to qualify for an opportunity like this one here tonight, if you already have your first time home buyer certificate, Go on the website. It's mvhp.org/Suffolk Place, correct?
Correct.
And definitely apply. If you don't have your pre-approval yet, meaning like the mortgage company hasn't given you a pre-approval, they'll help you get the pre-approval, correct? You'll help them get that, right?
Absolutely.
This is amazing. I wanted you to be on tonight because I know last month you wanted to come on, but things happened. But I wanted again to have you all here tonight because for me, home is where the heart is, but also home is where you raise your kids, build community, and build memories. And in order for us to do that, we have to feel stable and we have to feel like this is long term. When folks are coming in and out, they don't know if the landlord's gonna raise rents, if they're gonna be pushed out next month. How do I know, folks? If you've never been part of community, if you've never been to a housing court in Boston or in any part of the country, you need to visit house code. That's actually one of the things that I do when I go outside of the state or country. I want to go see how people live. And the best way to know what's going on in the housing market is for you to visit a house court. That's where families are being pushed out, families are being called into court because they A cannot afford the rent or B being pushed out because the landlord wants something else and they don't want them there anymore. And we are trying to say that this year on Let's Stop Money with Friends, we want to encourage everybody to build community. And the best way to build community is to own a little piece of the pie because homeownership is the American dream. And we want you to take advantage of the American dream of homeownership. Now, ladies, before we leave here tonight, I would like to give you an opportunity to say one last word to the audience and to let them know, yeah, how you could help them. We can go
Well,
with you, Jennifer. Go ahead.
Sure. I mean, you said it so well, Gabrielle, but I just think that if you think about rent alone is just too high and it's just not controllable. And if you don't have the conversation, you can't get started with the opportunity in front of you. Owning a home really is more than just where your kids go to school. It's where you wind up grocery shopping. It's where you have access to various resources. There's so much defining with where you are living at. So go ahead, start your home ownership path, grow your roots, grow within the community. Don't hesitate.
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead, Jennifer. Jennifer is already. Molly, go ahead. I'm looking
I
at
just
you.
wanted to add because I didn't before
Yeah.
the Suffolk Place was built with funding from Commonwealth Builder, and so that is the specific deed restriction that's on these properties. It's a little less strict than the other ones I talked about earlier. So
Mhm,
after 15 years, you could sell that property for market rate. You
mhm.
may have to share some of that price appreciation with mass housing, but these are amazing opportunities and they really don't come around that often. So I really encourage everyone to learn about Suffolk Place. See if you're in those income thresholds, get your application in. We will help you with all the steps. We would love to hear from you. Check it out.
Check it out. Yes, and Kathy.
Well, thank you for having us on. I would leave you all with home ownership is for everyone. It's not for a selective few. It's for everyone. And that's why we're here advocating for Suffolk's Place. Yes, there's a lot of one bedrooms, there's certain developments that are built a certain way, but Lowell is only about 45 minutes north of Boston and that area. So it's close in proximity to your community and you can still, be involved in the area you grew up with, but also create a new community here in Lowell. Lowell is a great city. It's diverse. Our school system speaks over 79 languages. I
Mm,
love the city of Lowell. I'm a product of the city of Lowell and proud of it. And why don't you come and join us here in Lowell at Suffolk Place. Look at the application. If you have any questions, give us a phone call. We'll be happy to help. Thank you
Yeah.
again.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Molly, Jennifer, and Kathy for being on the show. I really appreciate your time. And I appreciate the information you just shared here. I would encourage you, my audience, to share this with your friends, family, those of you, you know, there are people who are struggling to pay rent right now and they would love to own a home. And this apartment opportunity, condos opportunities, they definitely can at least try. We don't give any guarantee, but definitely you want to try. And if you don't know the process of home ownership through restricted deeds, definitely you want to reach out to Merrimack Valley Housing Partnerships. They'll help you. And if you're in Boston and you want to be closer to an organization closer to home or anywhere you are in the state, or anywhere in the country, I guess they will help you find the organization, a sister organization closest to you to work with. Okay. So thank you so much for your time again. Tag, share, tell a friend. It is great to be here on a Wednesday with you. Again, it's Gabrielle. Thank you for watching. We're going to go offline and then, yeah, have a blessed night, everyone. God bless you. I have to.